Shalom Uvracha. In this week's Parsha, Parshat Behaalotecha, we encounter two psukim that are separated from the rest of the Parsha. These two psukim, Vayehi ben So Aaron and Uvenucho Yomar, describe the travels and resting of the Aaron as it traveled surrounded by Am Yisrael and accompanied Am Yisrael and Bnei Yisrael throughout their travels and resting in the desert for 40 years. Chazal note that the reason why these two psukim, which are surrounded by backwards nuns, and the reason they are separated from the rest of the Chumash, or the rest of the Parsha specifically, is because Ein Ze Mikoman. This is not their place. Really, these psukim belong earlier, the beginning of Sefer Bamidbar, as the Torah describes the travels of Am Yisrael through the desert, departing from Har Sinai. These psukim that discuss and describe how the Aaron accompanied Am Yisrael on those journeys really should have been at the beginning of Sefer Bamidbar, at the beginning of the description of Am Yisrael's departure from Har Sinai. Many also note that although specifically or practically these psukim describe the physical journey of Am Yisrael throughout the desert, symbolically these psukim also represent the travels of Am Yisrael throughout Jewish history. That throughout the thousands of years, as Am Yisrael has traveled from country to country, from nation to nation, what has kept us alive and kept us strong has been our singular focus on our Torah, on the Aaron, representing the Torah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It is that Torah and that focus on Torah that has kept us alive and kept us strong throughout the thousands of years, specifically in exile and upon our return to Eretz Yisrael. Rabbi Dr. Norman Lamb, past president of Yeshiva University, and also the rabbi of the Jewish Center on the Upper West Side, in one of his more famous drashot at the Jewish Center on Shabbat, asked why it is that the Torah chooses to separate these psukim specifically using backwards nuns. Why specifically the letter nun and why backwards? Rabbi Lamb notes that the word nun in Aramaic actually means fish. And perhaps symbolically, al pi drush, suggests Rabbi Lamb, we can suggest that if a person takes a look at a river that's flowing, so everything in that river is flowing downstream. It's flowing according to the way that the river itself flows. There's only one thing that is able to flow upstream against the current, and that is the fish. The fish has the ability to swim backwards, as it were, to swim against the way that the river is going, and swim upstream when necessary in order to go where it needs to go. Suggests Rabbi Lamb perhaps the symbolism of the backwards nuns, specifically surrounding these psukim describing the travels of the Aaron, are coming to teach us a very, very important lesson. What has kept Am Yisrael alive and what has enabled us throughout the thousands of years to be able to stay and exist and stay strong is not simply our focus on Torah, but it is also our ability to swim against the current, to swim upstream, just like fish who are able to swim upstream when necessary. We as a nation have been, when faced with a society that sometimes promotes values that are against the Torah, have been willing to go against those values and to back up the values of the Torah specifically, to go against any modern values or any modern ideas that go against Torah values, and to stand up for Torah values, even if it means being unpopular and going against the tide, going against the current, as it were. And therefore, when the Torah specifically separates these two psukim describing the travels of Am Yisrael, which symbolically describe the travels of our nation throughout history, what has kept us strong and kept us as strong as we are today is our ability to know when to follow the current, when to swim with the current, following the values of the world around us, and when to go against those values, and when to swim against the current, swimming upstream, just like a backwards fish. Added by Lamb, al pi drush, perhaps that's the symbolism of the concept of ein ze mikomo. This is not their place. Perhaps the idea is to remind us that when living amongst the other nations and comparing ourselves to the values and ideas of the other nations, very often we have to say, that's not for us. That's not our place. We hold differently. We think differently. We don't just follow what everyone else is saying. Rather, we follow the values of Torah. We follow the values of Yiddishkeit. And that is what keeps us strong and enables us to be who we are. This message of Rabbi Lamb is especially relevant in the world that we live in today. Both in the current situation in Eretz Yisrael, where we are fighting a war against a bitter enemy and a world that seems to have lost all sense of morality and all sense of values. And certainly in the world that we live in, where all basic values and basic senses of morality seem to have been uprooted and upended in so many different ways, we have to know that it is important that that the key to our success, we have to remember that the key to our success is our ability to stay strong, is our ability to keep to our values, and when needed, fight against the values of the outside world, swim upstream, swim against those values, and making sure to maintain the values of the Torah, the values of Yadus, and those that have kept us alive and strong for thousands of years. Wishing everybody a wonderful Shabbat.